This situation originally came out as an armed robbery. The officers responded to the scene and pulled in the parking lot. Witnesses at the scene pointed to a vehicle leaving the parking lot, indicating that the robbery suspect was inside. The officers followed the vehicle, attempted to conduct a stop. The suspect fled. That pursuit led into another jurisdiction, where eventually the officers lost the vehicle. A short time later, officers from that jurisdiction came across an accident. They found a vehicle matching a description of the armed robbery subject. They got out and spoke with witnesses who said the driver had fled, and they pointed him out standing outside a gas station. The officers drove to the area, went forward, had the suspect come back to their car, and put his hands on the hood of the car. The officers repeatedly advised him to keep his hands on the hood of the car as he kept taking them off, reaching towards his waistband. One of the officers spotted a gun in his front right pocket. Despite the officer's warning, the suspect continued to reach towards his waistband and was eventually shot and killed. So here's some things to think about. I have no doubt in my mind that if this had occurred in a vehicle, the officers would utilize high-risk tactics. We want to make sure that we're always using those high-risk tactics, regardless of where we find the suspect at. Number one, I want to get the hands up in the air, away from the body, giving me more time to respond should they decide to reach for a weapon. The other thing I want to do is I want them to turn away from me, making it harder for them to target me, making it going to take longer if they decide to pull a weapon and engage me in a gunfight, and give me more time to respond to those actions. The other thing I want to do is, before I bring back someone who's been involved in a situation where they may involve a weapon, is I want to do a visual frisk on them from a distance away. If he'd have pulled his jacket up and turned slowly in a circle under the officer's direction, the officers might have been able to spot that gun in his pocket before him coming back to them, and they might have been able to deal with it at a greater distance. Now, the key thing here is distance is your friend. The Leoka study done by the FBI over a 10-year period showed that about 50% of the officers killed in the line of duty were killed at a distance of 5 feet or less, and over half the officers killed died at a distance of 10 feet or less. I want to maintain distance as much as possible. So why is that? Because the closer the suspect is, the less time you have to react and respond to their actions. I want to make sure that I've got cover. In this case, they brought the suspect back to them. At that point, with the suspect standing at the hood of the car, with them standing on either side approximately by the wheels, everybody has the same level of cover. If the suspect drops down, he has cover. If the two officers drop down, they have cover. I want to set the suspect up to deny them cover and provide me cover. So I want to stop them a distance away where I've got the cover and they're out in the open. By achieving cover in a gunfight, you increase the likelihood of you not getting seriously injured or killed by about 80%. Now, one of the key things out of this video is having suspects put their hands on the hood of a car. To me, that's an illusion of safety if you understand response and reaction time. How long does it take for a suspect to take his hands off the hood of the car, reach in and pull out a gun? Well, the answer is it depends on the clothing. But the studies show that once the suspect gets their hands on the gun, it's going to take about a quarter of a second for them to pull it out, point, and press the trigger. Studies also show that a police officer down on a low ready will take about a half a second to raise that gun up from a low ready to fire. You can see the difference in time, but understand that those times were established in a lab, in well-lit conditions. In the real world, you may be in low-light conditions, and you have to make the decision based upon the suspect's actions, which may take longer time, increasing the time it takes you to respond. So anytime I'm dealing with high-risk subjects in high-risk situations, I want to be utilizing those tactics, whether they're in a vehicle or on foot. I'm Dwayne Wolf for Police One, and that's your tactical analysis.